Hello vinyl community, this is Randy. Back today with another video. Today is Monday the 27th of January of 2025. So I'm going to show you some records that I picked up pretty much throughout the month of January. A couple of these I may have gotten even before the beginning of the year, but anyway, I haven't shown any of these yet. First record I had to show you is this record called Paradies, Düül, which I guess means water sports. So this is a record by Amon, which is a German band. It's very interesting. This is the first record I've gotten by Amon. I've really heard a lot about him in the vinyl community over the past few years. Very popular band, I think, in the vinyl community. And yeah, I guess Amon was they formed out of a collective there in Germany, in Munich, sort of like a commune, and recorded some records, evidently some very long spacey stuff. And well, I've been reading about them online, and there's quite a bit of information there. So evidently there was the first Amon, and then before a record was even released, or very early on, some of those members broke off into Amon 2. So they were releasing records as Amon 2, and I guess this band continued to release records as Amon. It's a little bit confusing, but either way, I've learned that this record was released in 1971 on OR Records, OHR. And what I have here is a 2022 reissue, also on OR Records. So, really one of the best album covers. I really like that album cover. And I like the back of it too. Lots of information. And this is what we're hearing in the background right now. So it's kind of indescribable. I think they're considered to be one of the first krautrock bands. This has, especially on side one, has almost, we're hearing side two now, has almost sort of a folky type sound. And so long jams, and yeah, it sounds very cool. So I picked that one up not too long ago. ZZ Top has re-released their first two albums. ZZ Top's first album and Rio Grande Mud. I tell you, I've been wanting to get those for a while. The only ZZ Top album I had before then was the third one, Tres Hombres. I showed this not too long ago for a tag, or because I always show this whenever a tag anybody asks about food, because I like that inner gift. I really like the inner sleeve on this one too. It's sort of a brown paper sleeve with pictures on it, very cool. And just the last thing I wanted to mention about that one was that it is on London Records, which has a very cool label. So I was gonna show it to you if I can. Yeah, so this London label, which is like, I guess, Decca Records in the UK, and in the United States they call it London. And the Rolling Stones were on this label. So ZZ Top has re-released these records, and there's quite a bit of information here. Well, I guess this is the original gatefold with pictures of the band, but then it comes with this insert here, which has extensive interview with Billy Gibbons, talking about the record and how they were getting signed to their first label, and they were very excited to be signed to London because the Rolling Stones were on that label. And in one of these two inserts, he talks about they toured, or they opened up for the Rolling Stones in 1971 or 72 or something like that. So I've been wanting to get the first two issues, the first two records, since I'd re-listened to that Trey Zombies not too long ago, and so these reissues came out, and I think they came out in the sort of the middle of last year, of 2024. These are Rhino reissues. These are called, it's on 180 gram vinyl, cut from the original analog master tapes by Kevin Gray at Coherent Audio. Pressed to optimal, includes an exclusive insert with insights from Billy Gibbons, and a Q&A with James Austin. It's a limited edition. So Rhino High Fidelity. Rhino High Fidelity, I don't know if you can see that or not. Rhino High Fidelity is what this record label is called. They, instead of using the London labels, they created their own label for it. So looks very cool. Black on one side, red on the other. So yeah, these first two ZZ Top albums are, and Trey Zombies too. I mean, they're really different from what they became later on. They're much more blues oriented, just like blues rock, heavy blues rock. Rio Grande Mud is the second one. There's the band out there cooling off. Pretty cool photos. Here they are jamming before the Beards came in. This has this fantastic song on it called Just Got Paid. Francine is the first song on here, which is actually sung by Dusty Hill, the bass player. Most of it's sung by Billy Gibbons, I think. But Francine, one of their first singles, there's a fantastic song right here called Just Got Paid. Really great. A ZZ Top. So both these records are kind of the same. They both have that Obi strip and the inserts with the picture of the tape box and extensive interviews and the same kind of label on this one, red and black. See, I was really glad to get both of those. I mean, I could have probably found the originals, but to find the original of those in good shape, pretty tough. And so I was glad to get the reissues. I've been listening to a lot of hip hop, urban contemporary music, especially in the car. But also when I work out in the mornings, using live stream. I have a rowing machine. I've been doing some rowing, and so I've been finding that. I've been listening to a lot of different stuff, I guess, but a lot of hip hop. And one thing I found, listening to a lot in the car on the radio, is that there's I guess it's sort of like the way it always was with AM radio. There's sort of the bands that are focused more on just individual songs. And then there's the album type bands. And some people are sort of a mixture of both. So Childish Gambino, I think, is sort of a mixture of both. Childish Gambino is actually a sort of a stage name for, what is his name? Glover is, I meant to look all this stuff up. Let me pause this for a second. Donald Glover is his real name, and he is also an actor in addition to being I guess a singer. He was on a TV show called Community, which I never saw that one, but evidently it was a fairly popular show. And he also was a writer for the 30 Rock TV show. But he has this alter identity as Childish Gambino, who has released several albums. And there was a movie that was supposed to have come out over the summer called Bando Stone in the Search for the New World. And that soundtrack album was released digitally in July, so that's probably the record I listened to more than any other record in 2024. It was really good. And I've ordered the vinyl, but it's been delayed several times. Well, Childish had another record in 2020 that was called Atavista. He released it digitally in 2020, called it 3/15/20, I think. And, it's been re-released now as Atavista. Atavista. And this is a 2-record set, and it's really good. I like it a lot. It falls into the category of, I think, hip-hop or maybe just like modern R&B. There's a lot of singing on it. It's actually more like listening to something like a Stevie Wonder record or something. There's a lot of vocals on it. It's not just rapping. I'll tell you, the album jacket is all white. It also comes with this booklet type insert, which there is white writing on these pages. With, if you hold it in the light just right, you can read it. And then, you know, like the inner sleeves. It's true, I could say that the inner sleeves are also white, which I don't think there's any writing on these. The labels are white, so I just don't understand that at all. I mean, that's just really irritating in the extreme. I mean, the darkest writing on it is actually on the labels. You can sort of see a little bit the writing. And also, this should not have been a 2-record set. It's only about 50 minutes long. It would have been. I would have rather had 2 25-minute sides than 4 12-minute sides. That's the way it is. But the record overall is fantastic, and yeah, hip hop I've really been listening to a lot over the past year or so. It's kind of interesting to get back into hip hop. I hadn't listened to any for quite a while. There was a record that came out in 1996 called, well, by the artist is called Dr. Octagon, and the name of the album is Dr. Octagonacologist. I'd never heard this when it came out in 1996, but this was a record that was put together by a guy named Cool Keith, which that is also a stage name for him. I'm not sure what his real name is. This is produced though by Automator. So, you know, still really getting real names, but this really is just much more of an album. So like I said, just hip hop, some of it is much more just like songs and stuff, like Cardi B, for instance. I'm not really sure I would want to hear a whole album of her music, but albums like this are really meant to be heard, I think, as the entire album. And this one, well, this one is also spread across 4 sides, but it's a little bit longer, so it works out better with all those different sides. There's a whole lot of people that worked on this record. So I was thinking the interesting thing about this is I think both of these would fall into the category of hip hop now. If you hear the 2 albums, they don't sound anything alike at all. Dr. Octagon is a lot more like MF Doom and ones like that. A lot of humor in this, superhero references, and mostly just a lot of fun. So, and Atavista is, like I say, almost just more like an R&B album or something. So, give me these inner sleeves, splattered vinyl, and the other one has the same picture, slightly different color vinyl. So Dr. Octagon. This record also came with a platter mat, which you almost see. Platter mat, slip mat. I'm using that one to replace my Grateful Dead slip mat. Picked up a couple jazz records. J.R. Monterose, saxophone player, tenor sax player from the 1950s. I had heard of him before. He played on a Kenny Dorham record that I had, and I really liked him. He has a very distinctive style. It's almost more like a cool jazz, very melodic sounding. He doesn't play so many notes. There's a lot of the saxophonists do. So he recorded this album in 1958. This is very cool. He's the only horn playing on this one. He's got Tommy Flanagan playing piano for him. And Pete LaRocca on drums. Jimmy Garrison plays bass. Jimmy Garrison, who later went on to play with John Coltrane Quartet. So this is really excellent. I like this a lot. Some of these are originals, like Straight Ahead and Green Street Scene. This is a fantastic version of Violets for Your Furs. A slow ballad, and yeah, I think that's the only cover that he does on here. So cool pictures on Jaro International. I'd never heard of that record label before. I looked at it in Discogs. They didn't really produce too many records. All of them, I think, in the 1950s. Kenny Dorham has a record on the same label, which is very similar. It just shows him playing his trumpet on the front with his name over here and the name of the record over here. So, J.R. Montrose, really like that one. A very cool label on that one too, Jaro. Jaro, I'm not even sure how you pronounce it. And the last record I had to show you was this Pepper Adams record. Pepper Adams played baritone sax. He was well known for playing with Donald Byrd. I think, pretty much throughout the 50s and into the early 60s. He's on several Donald Byrd albums. On this one, which was recorded live at the 5-Spot, Donald Byrd is there. But for this show anyway, it's Pepper Adams Quintet. So I think they were good friends in real life, and I'm not really sure how they went about deciding, when they recorded records and live gigs like this, how they decided who to call the leader. But on this one, Pepper is the leader. So 5-Spot, 10 to 4th 5-Spot, I think they were first to, they probably started playing about 10 o'clock at night, probably played till about 4 in the morning. 5-Spot, very well-known place there in New York, really small. There's some liner notes here, and fewer than 100 people can fit in there. So really cool place to see a band. And he has Elvin Jones drumming on this one, along with Doug Watkins on bass and Bobby Timmons on piano. So really cool. And so it's the quintet, with Donald Byrd on trumpet. There is a song, You're My Thrill, the second song, which Donald Byrd sits out. So I guess that's sort of it's Pepper Adams record, so he has that one song that's totally focused on him. Riverside Records. It's on Riverside Records, but actually the copy that I have here is a 1976, 1976 reissue. It's a Japanese reissue. Didn't have an Obi strip, but it's a Japanese reissue, and I tell you, it really does. It just sounds fantastic, and this record is really thin. It's like a Dynaflex, but the sound is just totally awesome. The record itself is just like new. So got both those jazz records used from Dusty Groove online, a record store I guess up there in Chicago. So that's it. Those are the records I picked up in the last part of, pretty much throughout the month of January 2025. So interested to know what you think about those records, any insights into them, and I hope everybody's doing well. Thanks for watching.